Last time we talked about Quibi, and we speculated about whether or not they would go under, and they did. They are going to go out of business. They tried to find a seller. No one wanted what they were selling. So that was just the first major casualty of the streaming wars. I have to imagine they can't be the last ones. There's so many streaming services. Um, like I have Showtime right now, and I enjoy it well enough. I don't plan to stick with Showtime. Like they just don't have enough stuff that makes it worth paying for.
As far as I know, the only thing on Showtime is the third season of Twin Peaks.
And I mean, that's all I've been using it for. They also have adult films. So
okay.
That. And then they actually have a show that looks somewhat interesting to me. I don't think anyone's ever heard of it, but it's like a historical drama. I want to say it's called John Brown. He's like a famous abolitionist.
The abolitionist?
Yeah, it's a biopic based on him. It looks fairly interesting, but like obviously no one's ever heard of it. I wouldn't know about it except for the fact that Showtime keeps on advertising it to me. But yeah, there's not that much there. They also have some movies, some licensed. I saw the From Russia with Love. I saw on that, which was cool.
I have a question about that, actually. Well, about this phenomenon of the streaming services, the kind of the weaker ones maybe going by the wayside. Do you think that this is going to improve like the big name ones as streaming services? And my logic behind this is that it will be easier for those bigger streaming services to acquire like rights to properties and stuff like that.
I hope it does. Because I remember that Netflix was better in the past because it had so much more stuff. Everyone was taking things away from it to make their own streaming services, and it's just cutting up the pie. And it would be nice to just have, some competition. I think is good in any industry. So maybe like 3 big players, and then not worry about anything beyond that. But I don't like these like little tiny things that have one show that you want to see, but then you're not wanting to pay for a whole streaming service for a single show, so it just becomes black. The other alternative is that we get it to become basically cable again, where there is some super service that combines all the little services in a big package, which you've already seen Disney try to do with their Disney, Hulu, ESPN package bundle. So those are the 2 futures I see. I do not think that the current thing is sustainable, that all these little players can actually survive, as evidenced by Quibi. Couldn't make it.
6 months. It was a good run.
No. But continuing talking about streaming, there was a kind of a big news thing in terms of Disney, that they have said that they are going to restructure their business to make streaming a priority. So they're already moving a couple of their movies that were going to be theater releases to streaming. Soul being a big one that was going to come out. It's going to be a Disney Plus exclusive. And it just seems like that is their stock price went up after this. So it seems like their investors at least think this is a good move. As far as I'm aware, they're not going to stop releasing movies in theaters. Like, I don't think this is they're exclusive to Disney Plus now. There's going to be some things that get theatrical releases. I can't imagine.
It'll just be less of a focus, I imagine.
Yeah. So, and they might continue to do like a VOD thing where they try to get you on subscriptions and get you to pay for the movie, like Mulan, which I hope they fall on their face with that, because I do not want to do that. But I mean, Netflix gives you stuff, and they don't charge you for individual content. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, Netflix isn't Disney. Disney, they can kind of do whatever they want at this point.
A little bit. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But do you guys have any? Do you think this is a good move on their part? Are you happy to see it? Would you prefer streaming? Because I mean, I know that I'm more likely to watch a movie that I have on streaming than I would in the theaters, unless it's something I'm really interested in.
Well, with Mulan, they released it on Disney Plus, but you still had to pay more money to watch it. Is that their model now for future like releases? Like where it's on their streaming service, but you still have to pay the video on demand price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have to say that if the three options are straight to streaming in the theater and pay for individual content on streaming, then I will always choose the theater experience over paying to see it on my TV, like paying $30 or whatever. As that's just never not going to happen, except for maybe in the context of this. I feel like I need to review it for this podcast. But when it comes down to straight to streaming compared to theaters, I would say for maybe 80% of movies, I would probably take the streaming, just because I'm not seeing every movie I'm slightly interested in theaters. Right? There's certain movies that like I would like to see in theater experience, but a lot of movies where I'm vaguely interested, but I don't care that much if I see it on the big screen. A lot of comedies like this, just things that like I don't know if the movie theater experience really adds to it too much, but a movie like the new James Bond, I mean, if I could see it in theaters, I'd see it in theaters. That's how I want to watch that movie.
Yeah, but something like Borat 2, I could watch on a streaming service.